For thousands of years, humans have told stories of giants, beings twice or three times our size who once walked the earth. But what if these weren't just stories? Hundreds of newspaper reports from the 1800s and early 1900s documented the discovery of giant human skeletons across America. Then the stories stopped. The bones disappeared into museums and institutions. The Smithsonian collected hundreds of specimens. Today they claim none exist. But across every continent, ancient cultures recorded encounters with giants. Cave paintings, oral traditions, religious texts, all telling the same impossible story. Were giants real? Did they exist alongside our ancestors? And if so, why has their existence been erased from history? The Bible speaks of them clearly. Genesis chapter 6. There were giants in the earth in those days, the Nephilim, offspring of angels and human women. Goliath stood over 9 feet tall according to Scripture, not a metaphor, not symbolic. The text gives specific measurements. The Greeks called them titans and cyclopes. The Norse knew them as Jotnar. Hindu texts describe the daityas. Every ancient culture has the same accounts. In 1895, workers in Ireland reportedly unearthed a skeleton over 12 feet tall. Newspapers across Europe covered the discovery. Then silence. The New York Times alone published dozens of articles about giant skeleton discoveries between 1850 and 1920. Credible witnesses, multiple locations. The American Midwest was filled with mysterious burial mounds. When opened, many reportedly contained bones of extraordinary size. Reports described not just size but anatomical anomalies: double rows of teeth, 6 fingers, elongated skulls, features unlike modern humans. Where did these skeletons go? Most were reportedly sent to the Smithsonian Institution for study and preservation. Today, the Smithsonian maintains it has no giant human remains in its collection. They claim the newspaper reports were hoaxes or exaggerations, but some evidence persists. In Nevada's Lovelock Cave excavations in 1911 allegedly found red-haired giants over 8 feet tall. The Paiute tribe had legends of the same beings. The Paiute called them Sitika, red-haired cannibalistic giants who lived in the cave. Their ancestors supposedly killed them in a great battle. Oversized sandals measuring 15 inches were recovered from the cave. Tools and weapons too large for normal human use. In South Africa, a fossilized footprint measures over 4 feet long. Geologists claim it's a natural formation, but its shape is unmistakably a human foot. When Magellan explored South America in 1520, his crew reported encountering people so large they called them giants. Multiple expedition members documented the sightings. In France in 1890, anthropologist Georges Vacher de Lapouge found bone fragments suggesting a human over 11 feet tall. The bones disappeared before they could be fully studied. Sumerian tablets describe the Anunnaki, beings who came from the sky. The texts explicitly state they were giants compared to humans. Egyptian art consistently shows pharaohs and gods as giants compared to ordinary people. Was this purely symbolic? Or a record of biological reality? Modern science acknowledges that archaic humans like Denisovans were significantly larger than modern humans. Could some populations have been even larger? We know human species of vastly different sizes once coexisted on Earth. The fossil record proves it. So why is the idea of giants so controversial? Archaeological sites worldwide contain stone tools of extraordinary size, tools that would require hands twice normal size to wield effectively. Consider the megalithic structures. Sacsayhuaman in Peru. Stones weighing over 100 tons fitted together with impossible precision. The foundation stones at Baalbek in Lebanon weigh 800 tons each. Modern cranes cannot lift them, yet they were quarried, moved, and placed with perfect precision. In the quarries, we find evidence of the work. Massive stones partially cut then abandoned. What technology did they possess, or what strength? Easter Island's Moai statues weigh up to 80 tons. The islanders had no wheels, no metal, no beasts of burden, yet they moved hundreds of these giants. At Pumapunku in Bolivia, stones are cut with machine-like precision, perfect right angles, intricate interlocking designs, work attributed to a primitive culture. Why did the report stop? In the mid-1900s, newspapers stopped publishing giant skeleton discoveries. Museums went silent. The answer might lie in Darwin's theory. The new scientific paradigm demanded a clean, linear evolution. Giants didn't fit the narrative. Academic institutions control what is accepted as real. Discoveries that contradict established theories are dismissed, ignored, or hidden. Researchers who investigate giants are labeled pseudoscientists, their careers threatened, their findings suppressed. This isn't new. Throughout history, those in power have destroyed evidence that threatens their worldview. How much ancient knowledge has been lost? The Book of Enoch describes giants in explicit detail. For centuries, it was banned by the church. Why? What truth did it contain? Enoch states the giants were 300 cubits tall, over 450 feet, clearly impossible. But what if the text preserves a kernel of truth wrapped in exaggeration? The Nephilim were said to be mighty men of renown, warriors, builders, beings of great power. Genesis says they were on earth before the flood. Every ancient culture has a flood story, a great deluge that destroyed a previous world. Could giants have existed in that pre-flood civilization? Ancient texts describe a pre-flood world of great knowledge and power, a civilization that fell. Perhaps the giants were part of that lost world. Skeptics point to gigantism, a pituitary disorder that causes excessive growth. Robert Wadlow reached 8 feet 11 inches before his death, but gigantism is a disease. It causes severe health problems and early death. Could an entire population of healthy, functional giants have existed this way? We know isolated populations develop unique traits. Homo floresiensis, the hobbit humans, grew to only 3 feet tall. Could the opposite occur? Some theorists suggest Earth's ancient atmosphere contained more oxygen. Higher oxygen levels allow larger body sizes. We see this in fossil insects. During the Carboniferous period, dragonflies had 2-foot wingspans. Millipedes grew 8 feet long. The oxygen was 35% compared to today's 21%. If the environment supported 100-ton dinosaurs, why not 10-foot humans? The megafauna proves Earth once supported life on a massive scale. Giant mammals walked alongside early humans, dire wolves, cave bears. Irish elk with 12-foot antlers, giants everywhere except supposedly among humans. In Texas, human footprints appear in the same rock layer as dinosaur tracks. Mainstream science calls it impossible, but the prints exist. The Ica stones of Peru show humans hunting dinosaurs. Thousands of stones with consistent imagery. Hoax or evidence of a forgotten coexistence. A temple at Angkor Wat built in the 1100s contains a clear carving of a stegosaurus. How did medieval Cambodians know what dinosaurs looked like? Numbers 13:33. The Israelite spies report seeing giants. We seemed like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we looked the same to them. The Bible names specific giant tribes. The Anakim, the Rephaim, the Emim. It gives their locations, their cities. Were these real peoples? Og, king of Bashan. The Bible records his bed was 13 feet long and 6 feet wide, made of iron to support his weight. Specific details, not mythology. The battle between David and Goliath happened at a specific place, the Valley of Elah. You can visit it today. Was Goliath real? Oversized armor and weapons appear in museum collections worldwide. Swords 7 feet long. Helmets for heads twice normal size. Who wore them? Ireland's Giant's Causeway, named for the giants of legend. Science explains it as volcanic rock, but why do so many places have giant names? Every continent, every culture, Pacific Islands, Africa, Asia, Europe, the Americas, all have detailed traditions of giants. Why such universal agreement? Oral traditions preserve history for thousands of years. DNA studies prove Aboriginal Australians have 50,000 years of continuous cultural memory. Their giant stories might be that old. Aboriginal art depicts the Wandjina, sky beings of enormous size. The elders say they created the land. Their stories go back to the Dreamtime. Polynesian navigators spread across thousands of miles of ocean. Every island they settled had existing giant legends. Coincidence? African tribes tell of the first peoples who were giants, the Wazungu, the ancient ones who built with massive stones and possessed great knowledge. Japan has the Oni, Korea the Dakibai. China records giants in its earliest histories. The pattern holds across all human societies. The Paracas skulls of Peru, elongated craniums 25% larger than normal human skulls. DNA testing shows unusual genetic markers. Modern DNA studies reveal humans carry genes from unknown species. We bred with Neanderthals, Denisovans, and at least 2 other unidentified hominids. Science confirms we are hybrids. multiple human species mixing. If we accept that, why reject the possibility that some lineages grew much larger? Turkey's underground cities. During Kuyugo's 18 floors deep, carved from solid rock, housed 20,000 people, who had the strength to excavate this. Ancient Egyptian sites show drill holes in granite that modern engineers cannot replicate. The precision and speed required seems impossible. In Florida, one man, Ed Leedskalnin, built Coral Castle. He moved stones weighing 30 tons using techniques he never revealed. He was 5 feet tall and weighed 100 pounds. Modern experiments prove sound waves can levitate objects. Ancient texts describe using sound and vibration to move stones. Were the ancients more advanced? Tibetan monks claim their ancestors could move rocks with sound alone, dismissed as legend. But acoustical engineering is proving sound has real mechanical power. If giants existed, where did they come from? Ancient texts consistently say they came from the sky. Were they extraterrestrial? The ancient astronaut hypothesis suggests advanced beings visited Earth in antiquity. Could these visitors have been physically larger than humans? The Nazca lines can only be fully appreciated from high altitude. Who were they made for? Beings who could fly? Giants who could see from great height? Ancient texts describe gods creating humans. Sumerian tablets detail genetic manipulation. What if giants were a failed experiment or different creation? Genesis describes 2 creations. First, Adam and Eve made in God's image, then their children mixed with the sons of God, producing Nephilim. 2 separate lineages. The human family tree has more missing links than found fossils. We know astonishingly little about our own origins. Cro-Magnon humans had larger brains and more robust skeletons than modern humans. We are getting smaller and weaker, not larger and stronger. Our ancestors hunted mammoths and cave bears. They were physically stronger and more capable than modern humans. We evolved to be weaker. What if we have it backwards? What if early humans were superior to us? What if giants were the original template and we are the diminished version? The flood stories describe a reset, a world destroyed. If an advanced civilization with giants existed, the deluge would have erased most evidence. 12,000 years ago, something catastrophic happened. The Younger Dryas impact. Massive extinction. Sea levels rising 400 feet. Was this the biblical flood? Göbekli Tepe was built 11,000 years ago, before agriculture, before civilization supposedly began. It rewrites everything we thought we knew. Underwater cities discovered off Japan, India, Cuba. Structures thousands of years older than official history allows. Proof of lost civilizations. Edgar Cayce predicted a hall of records beneath the Sphinx. A library of pre-flood knowledge. Ground-penetrating radar shows chambers exist. Perhaps the truth is being rediscovered. Ancient texts studied seriously. Archaeological anomalies investigated honestly. The narrative is shifting. The internet allows information to spread beyond institutional control. Discoveries once suppressed now reach millions. The gatekeepers are losing power. Independent researchers crowdfund excavations. They investigate sites academics ignore. They ask questions mainstream science won't. Science advances through paradigm shifts. Old models collapse when evidence overwhelms them. Are we on the verge of such a shift? Only a fraction of Earth has been excavated. The Amazon rainforest alone may hide hundreds of unknown cities. What giants might still be buried? Antarctica was ice-free until 12,000 years ago. If a pre-flood civilization existed, its remains might be perfectly preserved under miles of ice. The Peary Rise map from 1513 shows Antarctica's coastline, before it was officially discovered, before it was covered in ice. Who mapped it? The Baghdad Battery. The Antikythera mechanism. Ancient artifacts showing technological sophistication that shouldn't exist. Egyptian temple carvings appear to show electrical devices. Light bulbs, power sources. Are we seeing what we're taught to see, or what's really there? Yes, some giant skeleton photos are hoaxes, digital fakes, but hoaxes don't disprove the hundreds of documented newspaper reports from before photography. The truth requires looking at evidence honestly, not dismissing uncomfortable discoveries, not accepting claims without proof, following evidence wherever it leads. Museums display 5% of their collections. The rest stays hidden in storage. What remains unseen? What doesn't fit the approved narrative? Researchers request access to Smithsonian records about giant skeleton acquisitions. The requests are denied, delayed, or heavily redacted. Scientists who investigate forbidden topics lose funding tenure positions. The academic establishment punishes curiosity. Why? Perhaps the giants are our forgotten past, evidence of human diversity we can't yet accept. A chapter of history erased because it doesn't fit our story of who we are. Were giants real? The evidence suggests something extraordinary existed, something that challenged the powerful, something they chose to erase. But the truth has a way of surfacing. The giants may be silent, but their stones still speak.